Hello and welcome to Government DigiTech Conclave. In this special fireside chat discussion, we are going to focus on India's goals for digital governance ecosystem. To lead the discussion, today I'm joined by Mr. Abhishek Singh, Chief Executive Officer MyGov and President and CEO of NEGD, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. First of all, thank you for joining us, Mr. Singh, today. Let me begin by asking you, we understand that Digital India program has been running and it has achieved a lot of milestone over the last 6, 7 years. I would like to understand from you what are the challenges that you see is still in Digital India. Some of the things that you feel that we should have attained, but there are some work that is yet to be done.
See, in the last few years, in the last 6, 7 years, Digital India has achieved many milestones in enabling better access to services, in enabling better information flow, in enabling people to work. Especially during the pandemic period, we found how digital technologies really helped for life to continue as earlier. People could work from home, people could study online from home, they could access telemedicine services. While a lot of development has been made in the field of Digital India, but if you ask for challenges, the first and foremost challenge that I would like to list is like access. Like, how do you provide equitable access to connectivity and to devices to each and every one? Because the more we go up in the digital domain, the more digital divide challenges come in. So, like Bharat Broadband Network is the BharatNet project is seeking to connect all 600,000 villages with optical fiber connectivity for reliable access to e-services. So that work is going on. So till that is completed, that remains a challenge. And the second big challenge that we have is in enabling capacities at all levels in the government for taking IT projects, e-governance projects, for implementing e-governance project as a end-to-end service.
As you mentioned about two very important things, one is the connectivity and other is capacity building. In capacity building, what we realized that the next generation technology, which is playing very immense role right now, those technologies are by and large proprietary, and those technology required a higher level of IT capacity for a public sector organization, which we feel right now is not there. As an organization, NEGD has played a very important role in taking e-governance and technology to different states, especially the SEMT team have played a hand-holding role across the country. In that light, I would like to understand from you what NEGD is doing to build capacity, IT capacity within government organization.
See, the next generation technologies, the artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, these technologies are transforming every aspect of digital services across the spectrum. So whether it's e-commerce, whether it's manufacturing, you find all these technologies playing a big role. When it comes to public services, especially in the country like India, I see a major role for that. Artificial intelligence based conversational chatbots are transforming the way people access services. In fact, in India, a lot many people, like still 500 million people are yet to get onto the internet. And the challenge for them to access internet, even after connectivity and access to devices there, will be the ability to browse a site or ability to download an app and go there. They would require to access internet with voice interface. They will want to talk to the app, talk to the device, just like we talk to the Series with Alexas. So voice enabled internet powered by AI technologies will be the one means of enabling public services accessible to more and more people. Then natural language processing. Like India is a diverse country with multiple languages. How do you ensure that a person knowing Tamil is able to communicate with somebody who knows only, say, Bengali? So the NLP technologies would allow people to transcend the language barrier and be able to share information across their immediate neighborhood. Then in the field of agriculture and healthcare, we find a lot of applications of AI based technologies. We already have seen how breast cancer scanning is done with AI technologies, how diabetic retinopathy is diagnosed with AI with image processing, how recently there was a project which is called X-ray Setu, in which looking at the X-rays, one was able to diagnose whether somebody is suffering from COVID-19, and it eliminated the need of high cost CT scan that was being done. Similarly, in agriculture, AI-based technology, data science is helping farmers take conscious decisions about what they should be cultivating, how much fertilizers they should be using, how much water they should use for irrigation. So in almost every field of our lives. AI-based technologies, IoT, and machine learning is making a transformation. If you look at smart mobility, all the traffic systems that are there, they are relying on AI-based technologies, on data science. So I see a great application of emerging technologies in making public services more efficient, more accessible, and more affordable for every citizen of India.
Earlier, you mentioned about the capacity building, and which is by and large related to the next generation technology. Because in next generation technology, we are looking at something which is highly proprietary right now, something new, and we may not have the kind of capacity, kind of technology, talent which is needed in public sector to handle this data or create application. NEGD being an organization which is a kind of torch bearer or a vehicle for creating capacity across country in the form of SEMT. I mean, initially it was only SEMT that took technology to different states, and then it empowered different states. Today, some of the state might have their own corporation. For example, JAP IT, MAP IT. There are a lot of organization. But in that framework, from a capacity point of view, I would like to understand how do you look this as an opportunity to NGD to play again a major role in digital transformation.
See, the NEGD has been taking up capacity building exercises at various levels with the SEMTs and the state IT departments you have spoken about. We conduct regular training sessions for them. But in order to upskill them in the field of emerging technologies and AI, we have launched several schemes, several programs. We organized the RAISE Summit, the Responsible AI for Social Empowerment Summit last year in October, in which over a period of 5 days, we had participants coming from more than 147 countries, almost 80,000 participants took part. The noted experts in these various fields spoke and shared their experiences. As a follow up to that, we started a program called AI Pe Charcha, in which we get experts from industry, experts from academia, experts from government who have been practitioners, who have implemented artificial intelligence based solutions to give a talk with regard to how that solution works, and we facilitate easy adoption of the solutions which have been developed elsewhere in our setup. We have also started a digital dialogue series for policymakers. It's a series of 100 sessions in which we are working with partnership with industry, wherein capacities of our team members, officers of the government of India, officers of the state government, SEMT teams, IT teams of government of India departments, state governments are being imparted training in emerging technologies and other fields. And when they do that, again, the model is not only theory, model is about practice, model is about looking at solutions which are there. And then AI is going to play a big role not only for public services, but for the entire digital transformation and the entire IT industry. So for that also, we have long-term plans also. We have worked very closely with the Education Ministry, with CBSC to ensure that the AI curriculum has been finalized. AI has become a subject in class 10th and 12th now, and students are learning AI from the beginning. We launched a program called Responsible AI for Youth, in which 50,000 students from government schools, they were selected and they were given basic AI lessons, and they were given kits and they were given laptops. And of them, around 11,000 completed that course. And now we are in the final phase, wherein the shortlisted 100 of them are building the AI projects, and very soon we'll be showcasing their projects for that. Then for again upskilling the people in the government space as well as the industry, we have also launched the Future Prime Skills program, wherein a lot of lessons are offered on AI and emerging technologies, again in partnership with industry. And we are seeing a huge number of subscribers for the courses on Future Prime Skills. The entire endeavor of this and the short term and the long term plans is to ensure that we build in capacities within India. The Vishwasaraya scheme for PhD sponsors PhD scholars in the field of artificial intelligence and other technological fields related to IT. And these PhD scholars, almost 1,000 PhD scholars have been sponsored under this program across institutions across the country. And these scholars are developing papers, right, doing research and building solutions that will help us in the days to come. So the entire endeavor is to make sure that India becomes the AI garage for the world. Any country looking for any AI-based solutions or any AI-based skilled manpower comes to India, avails those services from India, and creates value for the nation, for Indian companies, for Indian startups, and for Indian citizens.
And I'll go back to the previous answer that you gave, wherein you said among the two challenge, one of them was capacity, which you have explained, and the other was the connectivity. When it comes to the connectivity, even we understand and we observed during the pandemic that the experience of people in terms of accessing digital during the pandemic in cities were different for the people compared to what people in the rural areas would have, and that was only happening because we have a different level of connectivity. In some of the areas we might not have the kind of actually speed that you would need to access good application. In that light, I would like to understand two things from you. What have been your experience during the pandemic, especially on using MyGov? And second, as an NGD, what kind of efforts are being made on the last mile connectivity? Because we know that Honorable Prime Minister has said that most of the villages there must be some level of connectivity to be given. Organization like CSC is working on that. So if you could add something on that.
See, connectivity is a very important aspect, and till that is provided, of course, when we launch any services on MyGov or when we launch eSanjeevani for telemedicine solutions or Diksha for online learning solutions, the endeavor has been to ensure that such solutions and such applications work on even 2G connectivity. So the effort is to make them light, effort is to make them easy to use even in remote locations. Having said that, the larger objective of reliable fiber-based connectivity is being worked on. Ministry of Communications has the long-term plans for BharatNet. Almost more than 1,50,000 villages have already been covered, and now they have gone ahead in a public-private partnership mode for which they have invited bids, which allows private sector partners to join hands with the government and fast forward the connectivity, the fiber-based connectivity to the villages. And when they are connecting the villages, it's not that only a fiber is being taken to the boundary of a village. Within the village, the school, the primary school or the middle school, the sub center or the primary health center, the Anganwadi center, the Panchayat Bhavan, these are also being corrected so that educational services, health related services, Panchayat related services will also be accessible to people. Then fiber to home, Ghar Ghar fiber has been like a announcement which Honorable Prime Minister has made last year. So Ghar Ghar fiber also ensures that every household will get a fiber connection. And once the fiber is connected, then the service providers will be able to offer government services as also other value added services like entertainment services. So that would really help in making the whole system sustainable in the long run. And then the PM Wani scheme was also introduced. PM Wani, what it does is that it allows one person having a fiber-based connection or having a reliable broadband or internet connection to offer Wi-Fi services in his neighborhood. So that would ensure that suppose if a training center, if a restaurant or if a chai wala or if any person has a connectivity, then he can offer Wi-Fi services to other people around. So that would further the PM Wani scheme is also going to kind of expand the availability of connectivity in the days to come. So together with the BharatNet and together with PM Wani and other initiatives of broadband that the government has taken and the private sector has taken, I feel that the connectivity challenge will be resolved in the next 2 years.
What this will be my last question. What we also realized that during the pandemic, that for most of the organization, be it public sector or enterprises, resiliency has become a very important and integral part of entire digital ecosystem that they are building. So if tomorrow there is something like that, this pandemic, they should be able to mitigate this challenge, whether for the business continuity plan or for anything on the go. From any GD or MyGov perspective, if you could share your views on resiliency as to how you see it. One, resiliency obviously would be able to provide whatever the information people are looking in their own languages, right? Keeping data on a proper way, and we should be able to analyze data on the go. Then we should be able to have a robust IT infrastructure beneath, which is compute, storage, and networking. So, how do you look at overall concept of resiliency for public sector IT infrastructure?
See, when you look at the experience that India has had in implementing large scale IT projects and managing large applications with a huge infrastructure requirement and with the capacity to scale up and be robust, then I don't think there's any other country in the world other than India which has been able to achieve that. We have the world's largest identity database, we have the world's largest Aadhaar based system, that biometric Aadhaar based system, which no other country has. And it has been working beautifully for the last 11 years almost more than 1.3 billion UID numbers have been generated. The verifications, the OTPs, the e-sign system happens seamlessly. And so many people use it every day for verifying their identity that all the naysayers who keep on saying about data privacy and data theft, actually last 11 years, there has been no major issue with regard to the Aadhaar-based system. The system has been live. There have been other systems with smaller databases which have faced outages and all, but the Aadhaar database is an example of what we are capable of doing that. Then if you look at the UPI-based system, UPI is again world's largest payment transaction system. You are able to transfer even small sums of money without any value, without any service charge to anyone to whom you want to. It happens very smoothly and it is so user friendly that even people who are on the other side of digital divide, they are able to use it. Like to even transfer 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 15 rupees at a tea shop, at a pan shop, people are using it. And the way Paytm and PhonePe and Amazon Pay and Google Pay and Bheem have revolutionized it. We see billions of transactions happening every day without any infrastructure issues. You look at Arogya Setu. When the Arogya Setu was built up, it became world's largest contact tracing app. It got 50 million users in just 5 days. Today, it has got 200 million users, and it works seamlessly, smoothly, without any infrastructure issues, without the app being down at any given point of time. So look at the COVID vaccination system. The COVID vaccination system was again developed in a record time. Look at the amount of number of people who register on it, number of people who get their vaccination certificates. No other country has built a system like that. Yesterday, we launched the COVID certificate interface on our WhatsApp chatbot, and we immediately found people are using very easily in doing so. So whether it's DigiLocker, whether it's Umang, I can go on and on. There are multiple examples within the government, done by NEGD, done by other government departments, which shows that India's capacity in building solutions at scale, India's capacity in managing infrastructure at scale is unparalleled. We have been able to do it. And that's why our resilience is very strong for building such large scale applications. And that's why when the pandemic came also, people thought that government will not be able to adopt to online working. But within no time, the entire government machinery, and not only the senior officers, right down to the section officers and the desk officers, they also adopted to VPN, they also adopted e-office, they also adopted to video conference meetings, emails, and the business continued as normal. So we are as a nation very resilient. We have faced a challenge in the form of the pandemic, but the digital transformation that we have seen has been much more than what we had been seeing earlier. And with the strength of digital transformation, with the strength of our IT industry, with the strength of our IT capabilities, we have been able to overcome the pandemic without major loss to life. But at the same time, that gives us hope that in the days to come, we will be able to move further on this direction, build solutions using our IT, and provide these solutions to not only India, but to across the world.
Mr. Abhishek Singh, thank you so much for sharing your views on digital governance ecosystem, your views on AI, and as to how the government mitigated the challenge of pandemic and some of the very large ecosystem, platform-driven ecosystem that India has created, especially UPI, Aadhaar, GST, among others. Thank you for sharing your views. And on behalf of ET Government, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.